Hey guys, Rob from the Off-Grid Tiny House. Now, I haven't been talking too much about what's going on over in Ukraine and Russia, but pretty scary stuff. Like I said in one of my earlier prepping videos, going way back about a year or so, I said, you know, the world leaders can see how weak our leadership is here in North America with Bonehead and Bonehead Jr. in Canada. And I mentioned, you know, because they're so weak of leaders and are running the countries into the ground, obviously the other world leaders are smart enough to figure that out and say, hey, we have an opportunity here to do whatever the hell we want and won't be really pushed around at all because we have lightweights running the government with no sacks. So here we are. Like I called it back about a year ago in my prepping video. I forget the name, but it was I believe it was slow motion collapse. That was a good one. It might have been in there, I mentioned it, but I made quite a few, so just look in the prepping video playlist, guys, you'll find it. Just last year's section. And here we are. I'm just waiting for my prediction that China will be taking Taiwan. If something really kicks off here shortly with the Bonehead. Let's go, Brandon. So they're gonna take their opportunities when they get them, and they are. As you know, I just heard recently China's still testing the waters over Taiwan, and with their aircraft buzzing them, and they're just waiting at the right moment when the US has its hands full with Russia. China will then take full advantage of that situation, and then at that point, guys, you might as well put a tag on it, World War III. Now, if anybody's confused about Russia, they're not pushovers, okay? They have hypersonic nuclear weapons, as does China. Wonder where they got that from. Oh yeah, let's go, Brandon. Dumb. Now, the big mess about this situation is Ukraine was pretty much a corrupt company, or country. It is a company. They call countries companies, actually, if you guys didn't know that. And a lot of shady dealings with the Democratic Party flow in and out of Ukraine. But unfortunately for the Democrats, that just ended with everything going on. Well, right now, you guys are watching it, I'm sure. And it's pretty sick. It's pretty sad. At least for the innocent civilians, they're getting asylum over in Poland and other places nearby, which is great because they had nothing to do with this. They're just trying to be good people and live their lives like everybody. But we have some, you know, we have too many people with too much money and too much time on their hands. And those are the people who normally stir up crap that's going on around here. It's not a good thing. And that's why I'm a fan of a maximum wage. I'll get into it in a little bit, just a sec. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Back again. So I was getting into maximum wage. What does that mean? We have a minimum wage. I would like to see a maximum wage, and I'll tell you why. Well, there's a lot of reasons. Number one, monopolies. Corporations that just keep growing and swallowing other companies up and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Like BlackRock, you may have heard of those guys. There's BlackRock and one other company. They're, I don't know, a few years off from controlling basically the planet. That's a fact. You can look it up. And what do I mean by that? Well, they produce and own everything that you would buy or watch or read, etc., etc., etc. Pretty scary. Privately owned company, and because it's privately owned, they don't show the names of the owners of said company, which is even scarier. Something tells me New World Order's at the top of that list. I'll tell you that. Now, other reasons. So, maximum wage. Let's say, and I have a good example of this, the maximum amount a person can make a month is $1 million. Now, that would be devastating for all these corporations, wouldn't it? It would break up all of them. And there would be no such thing as monopolies anymore, because the maximum amount of money a single person could make a month would be $1 million. And then I'm going to have people, oh, Rob, that's unfair. Well, guys, if that's unfair and you can't survive happily on $1 million a month, I don't know what you're doing wrong. Sounds like greed to me. Sounds like you're nuts. I'm gonna have to pause this and I'll be back. Alrighty guys, back again, talking about a maximum wage. So my example is, if the maximum every single person in the world, or in North America, could make is $1 million, that would break up all the big corporations really quick, and make numerous smaller businesses. They wouldn't really be corporations anymore, because it would be a small business making $1 million maximum a month for anybody. So that makes a lot of job opportunities. That improves pay for everybody across the board and improves competition and equality. I like it. Just a sec. Alrighty guys, back at it again. A lot of interruptions. A lot more people are out on the trail because it's beautiful out. Anyways, getting back to what I'm talking about. Now, how could you compete in a capitalist environment if the maximum you can make every month is at $1 million? Well, exactly. You couldn't really be competitive on the world stage with this setup, but we could be self-sufficient, because we'd have to basically not have trade with anybody else to make it work, which is kind of a pain, I would assume. Now there's some downers to this. What are the other countries going to do if we lock ourselves into a situation like that? Well, they're just going to keep on doing their merry way thing, except we'd have to come up with our own policies. If they want to deal with us and sell their product with us, they'd have to be under some stipulations. Whereas it's an even playing field for us. So it probably wouldn't work out. I'm gonna say we'd have to definitely dig into it some more later on in another discussion, but if everybody, you know, that was able to make a maximum wage of $1 million a month, and I'm talking these will be the heads of the CEOs of these companies, that's as far as they can go in life. Now, what's to stop them from moving to another country, making all kinds of money like they usually do, and selling product over here? Well, no, it wouldn't work like that. We'd have to come up with some kind of policy where if you're going to sell in our country, you fall under the same rules, and they wouldn't want to go there. Now, would this damage our economy? I don't know. I don't think so, because it makes so much freaking opportunity that it's unreal. So basically, $12 million a year is the maximum amount you're able to earn per person. If you can't live with that or on that, then you got serious problems. So basically what I'm thinking about is this would, you know, a rising ocean would raise all ships type of deal. Nobody left behind. Let's take General Motors for obvious reasons. Big company, make millions of dollars a year. Okay? That would have to be cut up in so many different other small businesses that it would be crazy. And it would not all be going to one central person or board. Each person could only make the maximum of $1 million, right? So it's a little tricky to figure it out, but it would split all these major corporations up to make tiny small companies everywhere in North America, which means jobs out the wazoo and high paying jobs for everybody. Now, that would also mean small grocery store chains, small restaurants, but everybody, in my opinion, would be wealthy and happy on this system with a maximum wage. It's going to be tough to convince the greedy bastards that are making all the money right now, but it is what it is. Now, another drawback to this is our entertainment. You guys know they spend crazy amounts of millions of dollars on movies in Hollywood, and most of these movies blow chunks, in my opinion. But they could only profit on their product up to $1 million, obviously. Now, whether they come up with a setup where, okay, let's say 5 people make a product, like a movie, right? And then the maximum amount each of the 5 can make is $1 million. Well, that's about all they're gonna make on their movie, but it's also long term. So let's say they made that movie, the 5 of them, each gets $1 million basically guaranteed every month. I think they'll be pretty happy and living pretty well the rest of their lives, especially after only a few years. So that's $12 million a year for quite a few years, guys. If you can't save and live happily on that, I don't know what you can do. That's just one example. I don't think it's ever going to happen because greed is just trumping everything as usual, but that would be a very smart idea. And I first heard about this from that Jesse Ventura. He came up with the maximum wage, and I really liked it. Made a lot of sense. So we'll see what happens. See you in a bit. To see all my live daily content, become a Patreon member. Click on the link on my YouTube channel at the Off-Grid Tiny House. Click on support this channel. It'll take you to the Off-Grid Tiny House page on Patreon, or you can just Google it. Sign up and join in. Thank you.